by to initiate release sequencer. On my mark. 5.
We're on express elevator to hell. Going down.
2. 1. Mark.
Hello, everyone. My name is Mark, a.k.a. Derringer. Today is Sunday, March 15th, and you are listening to episode 252 of the Instant Action Podcast, your weekly source for Planetside news and information. As always, I'm brought to you by great listeners like you via the Support the Show tab on instantactionpodcast.com. Speaking of that Support the Show tab, I have 2 new shout-outs this week to folks who made donations to the show. First, even though he made it as anonymous, I know it was you, Fireman. So big thank you to Fireman, and also a big thank you to Delimiter for making donations to the show this week. I pay my server costs in May of every year, so it's right around the corner. So those donations are definitely greatly appreciated. And this week's show is dedicated to the 2 of you. Other than that, what's been going on with me? Escalation obviously dropped, and everybody's been playing the hell out of Escalation. I mean, servers are full. Emerald has 4 continents open all the time. It's absolute insanity. You know, we finish an alert and automatically the continent goes right back into a meltdown mode, and it's or not a meltdown mode, but an unstable mode. It's absolute insanity with the number of people. And I think I saw we cracked 11,000 concurrent players at one point over the weekend, and I'm sure double XP doesn't hurt it at all. I'm also sure that this coronavirus restrictions aren't hurting people playing this game as well. So that's what I've been doing this week. And as soon as I'm done recording, I'm going to be jumping right back into Planetside 2. Gotta earn that A7. Other than that, I'm just like most of you guys, quarantined at home until further notice. I don't know about you, but my work has told me that I am to work from home until further notice. My wife's work is doing not the same, but you know, she's got to be out of the office multiple days each week. My daughter is on spring break right now. However, they have told her not to come back for 2 weeks after spring break is over, so she'll be home for 3 weeks. She'll be doing online classes for 2 weeks after spring break. It's a coronavirus household at this point. So, hey, what does it mean for you and I? It means more video games. But enough about me. What's in store for this week's show? First, I know you're probably tired of it, but I'm going to do my civic duty and take a minute to talk about coronavirus. But it'll be quick, and then it's back to Planetside news with the massive Escalation update. There's a lot to unpack in this update. Following hot on the update's heels were 3 hotfix that I want to go over, and then I'm going to finish this week talking about a new website that aims to take over from some of the sunsetted works by previous community members. So strap in as we hot drop into another episode of the Instant Action Podcast. So starting off this week, like I said, I just want to take a minute and go over coronavirus stuff with you guys, and I'm sure this is ad nauseum for most of you, but I wouldn't be doing my duty as a media member or person in the community if I didn't remind you all that this coronavirus stuff is legit and something that you should be concerned about, because obviously there is no current vaccine for it. The best way to prevent it right now is to not be exposed to it, because as we know, it is spread through person-to-person contact. So they recommend, the CDC website recommends staying further than 6 feet away from each other, and making sure that anybody who has respiratory droplets produced via an infected cough or sneeze doesn't land on you. Obviously, that would be bad. So that's how it actually spreads. How can you take care of yourself? First step, if you're not doing it already, shame on you, but you should be cleaning your hands often. Washing with soap and water for at least 20 seconds, especially after you've been in a public space, after blowing your nose, coughing, or sneezing. If soap and water are not readily available, use a hand sanitizer that is at least 60% alcohol. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth with unwashed hands. Avoid close contact with anyone who is sick, and put distance between yourself and other people, like I said. How can you protect others? Stay home if you're sick. Cover your coughs and sneezes, obviously. Throw away any used tissues that you have. Immediately wash your hands after coughing or sneezing, again, for at least 20 seconds. If you're sick, wear a face mask. If you're going to be around other people, sharing a room, in a car with them, and before you enter any healthcare provider's office, if you are not able to wear a face mask, obviously cover your coughs and sneezes as best as possible. If you're not sick, do not wear a face mask unless you're specifically caring for someone who is sick and they're not able to wear one. I mean, obviously, if a face mask is in short supply, they should be for caregivers and people who are actually sick. And then next, cleaning and disinfecting. You should really be cleaning and disinfecting any frequently touched surfaces daily. This will include tables, doorknobs, light switches, countertop handles, desks, phones, keyboards, toilets, faucets, sink, even your trusty mouse if you're using it every day. If surfaces are dirty, you should clean them using any sort of detergent or soap and water prior to disinfection. So these are just some of the common things that we should know about coronavirus at this point, and I don't want to spend any more time on it than this, but just be careful out there, folks, because I don't want any of you dying from coronavirus. That would suck. We need you in Planetside too. So just use common sense, folks, and let's get through this together as a community and move on from there. And like I said, moving on, let's get into Escalation. So yeah, basically, unless you've been living under a rock for the past couple months, Escalation is live in Planetside 2. It dropped on March 11th, and they're calling this a mega update. Note that this is only on the PC right now. They have stated many times that there's a lot of underlying things they need to iron out for the PS4 before they can bring it there. And they want to bring construction to PS4 around the same time as Escalation. So PS4 folks, just hang on. It'll be coming at some point. No idea when, but it'll be coming. So the opening to the Escalation update stated that they're excited to bring one of the largest updates in the 7-year history of the game. If you're new or returning, we welcome you to fight for Araxis. Outfits are an important part of the game's ecosystem. They help acclimate new players to a grueling, endless war and empower the strategic gameplay that sets this game apart from other shooters. They sought to elevate outfits and communities that surround them by offering new metagame on top of the day-to-day war in Araxis. A new system of outfit armaments that they'll continue to expand on in the future, and a competitive space for outfits are added in this update. So let's talk about all the different things that dropped with the update itself, starting with, obviously, the biggest thing is the Bastion fleet carrier itself. They call it a empire's might and determination symbolized in metal and voiced through cannon fire. I think that's a great description for a Bastion fleet carrier. Obviously, you need to have enough resources to create it. You need to create 4 different portions of it, and then finally the last portion of the fleet carrier itself to bank one in your inventory. It comes equipped with shipboard turrets, command-based artillery systems, interceptor launch platform, and can act as a spawn point for your entire outfit. A singular captain commands the warship, maneuvering it because you got to protect its weak points and project its power onto the battlefield. It does require significant outfit coordination and investment to call in, and there can only be one per empire on the battlefield at any one given time. They also contribute to empire strength when deployed over contested territory. Again, like I said before, you need to craft multiple pieces of the Bastion in the outfit armory using resources. And then when you have enough time and resources invested, only authorized outfit members will be able to use the uplink terminal located at every warp gate to call in a Bastion. Within the Bastion itself, you can maneuver between the various seats through the F1 through F10 keys. The first seat is the captain's seat. They're in seat F1. F2 through F10 are turrets. And then any additional seats are for passengers itself. And a Bastion can hold a total of 48 players at any one time. As I showed you in the YouTube video that I put out, the first look at the Bastion, the captain uses waypoints on the map or mini-map to move the Bastion around and also order its artillery barrage. You must maintain the seat in order to continue issuing commands. So basically, the captain has to be in the seat to have the commands keep going. There are two types of manable turrets aboard the Bastion right now. One is an anti-air multi-purpose Gatling gun, and the second is an air-to-ground cannon. Clearly, where they say currently, that means that they're leaving the option open to add different turrets to the Bastion itself. I would love to see them offer all kinds of different turrets and have outfits be able to craft Bastion with loadouts that they want. I would love to see something like that in the future. Next, any player who ejects from the Bastion is mounted into an Interceptor class fighter. It has a unique loadout and a built-in ejection seat to it. In order to take down a Bastion, you must destroy its 8 weak points, which are located around the ship. Any anti-vehicle weaponry can damage those weak points, so both air and ground can take care of it. Even I guess a light assault could hit it with their rocklet rifle. Maxes, I don't think Maxes can reach it with their regular weapons, but Burster most likely should be able to reach it. And finally, anybody using an archer should be able to hit it as well. The weak points cannot be repaired, but do have a regenerating shield layer that comprises of a quarter of their total health pool. And obviously, when all weak points are destroyed, the Bastion will self-destruct in a glorious fashion. I saw a really cool picture of a Bastion exploding at night, and it kind of looks like a star going supernova. Definitely really cool. So there's Bastion all together. Next on this update itself is War Assets and the Outfit Armory. You'll notice that they have retooled the outfit page. You used to have to go into your own, the actual, social menu on the bottom. You have to click on that, and it's got all your options for squad and stuff like that. Now it has actually been moved out. So if you're like me, I keep hitting that social menu button, and it keeps screwing me up because outfit's not there anymore. It's got its own menu, and it's right in the middle of the nav bar now. So if you hit escape, it's right down there in the middle for the outfit itself. If you aren't in an outfit and you click on that button, it brings you to the outfit finder, which is actually pretty cool. So what are some of these war assets that you get now within the outfit armory itself? So again, these are craftable with the resources, but right now the choices are Steel Rain, which allows you to deploy your entire squad in a coordinated drop pod assault anywhere on the map. The Citadel Shield, which is a massive projectile blocking bubble that encases the area. The Anvil, and there's 3 versions of the Anvil, light, medium, and heavy, which allows you to airdrop a vehicle of your choosing. And finally, the Orbital Satellite Uplink, which allows you to call in an orbital strike at your target location. Obviously, like I said, these things take time and resources to craft, and the outfit leaders will have the ability to grant privileges to other outfit members to craft and or deploy these assets and hopefully turn the tide of battle. Speaking of that, they have given outfits the ability to control which ranks are allowed and added 3 new ranks to all outfits for added control. Now, of course, you've been asking yourself, how do I get these resources to create this? So On the map screen now, you will see outfit-based resources associated with each territory. There's 3 rarities to the resources. The first one is green. It is Araxium. It is common. The second one is blue. It is Cynthium. It is considered the uncommon. And the final is Polystellarite. It is purple, and it is considered the rare. I don't think any have Polystellarite on them. I think you have to convert Cynthium into it. But enough about that. The most common one out there on almost every base is Araxium, and that's the little green one. There are a few scattered here and there that do give Cynthium. But capturing a base will always yield an amount of Araxium, while claiming it for your outfit will provide the resource ticks shown on the map every 5 minutes. So that's important that you know that. It doesn't sound like you're going to capture Cynthium when you do these bases. You're just going to capture Araxium, so make sure you know that. And again, every 5 minutes, you're going to get resource ticks. And if you look on the outfit Armory section, it actually tells you what your outfit's current resource tick per 5 minutes is. It actually gives you a number, so you can actually see how many bases that you're holding. So again, claiming territory for your outfit obviously is important because it keeps resources stocked, and it's also amplified when you start or win the Meltdown Continent Alert because, as I've said on previous shows, this was a great addition. When the alert triggers, the Meltdown Alert triggers, whichever faction started it receives an immediate 5 times tick of resources from bases they own. So, if you're playing TR and all of a sudden TR, you've captured a whole bunch of bases, they all have your name on them. When TR launches the alert, you're going to get 5 times all of those ticks immediately. So it gives a big incentive for one faction to launch an actual Meltdown Alert. Now, the same goes for when the Meltdown Alert ends. Any faction that won it will also receive an immediate 5 times tick of resources from bases they own. Unstable Meltdown Alerts do the exact same, but with only a 2 times tick of resources. And at the end of the alert, all outfit ownership is wiped from the continent itself. It's also worth noting that expeditions, which are another option that you can do, can only be crafted in the outfit armory for that and a small investment of time, and they reward you with those higher rarity resources. Note that you can start them anywhere, but you can only claim the expeditions in the Nascent Expeditions office on Sanctuary itself, which is a perfect segue into Sanctuary, which was also added in this update. So Sanctuary is a neutral home for the war-weary, a place of trade, and a staging point for future exploration and expansion. All factions are available in there. You occupy the same space. Weapon use and damage is disabled in the zone. Sanctuary has launched with 2 main areas, the Atrium and Central Operation. The Atrium is a spacious area with a view of Araxis and beyond. It has the marketplace and vendors for the various services. Upstairs is the Central Operations, which is run by Nanite Systems, and it's to coordinate the various day-to-day workings of the Sanctuary satellite itself. Like I said, the marketplace is in the atrium itself, which has various vendors and representatives. First, you can find on the left-hand side shop is where the vendor Spark 33, SPRK 33, he deals stuff for the new A7 currency. So if you've ever wanted to get your hands on the NS357 IA pistol, the Derringer pistol, you can actually purchase that right now with A7 currency. It does take a little while to earn that A7 currency, but you can definitely get that. I saw you can also get the black hand there. You can also get the short bow there, as well as a camo as well. And I hope they add a lot of newer stuff into that ace. I think that's a great thing that they could really flesh out a way to give some really cool rare weapons to folks through that. Also note regarding A7, you're going to get it for participating in Meltdown Alerts, and it's based on how much time you spent in the alert, and obviously the victorious faction is going to receive more. But also you can find loose data around the world, and they look like little glowy, balls that you can find throughout the map. They're inside, on terminals, all over the place. And you basically walk up to it and you press the E key for a few seconds, like you're overloading a generator or a terminal or something, and then you'll earn a little bit of A7. It seems like 50 to 60 is the average amount that people are getting for finding these, and it seems like more than one person might be able to collect it. Next to Spark 3, this would be the center shop. That's where you can find the nascent expeditions rep and the expedition coordinator that both deal with outfit resources. That's where you can do you can do trading, and you can also collect your rewards. Also, in the right-hand shop, you're going to find the outfit recruiter and outfit quartermaster. This one uses loyalty and merit to offer equipment to folks. So now, while you're in an outfit, you will gain loyalty by capturing and defending bases with outfit members. It does say a reasonable force of enemies are required at these bases in order to count towards progress, which means ghost capping isn't going to reward you with loyalty. Loyalty acts similar to battle rank. It increases over time. It's not spent like currency, but the higher your loyalty rank is, the more outfit quartermaster items you'll have access to. Loyalty does decay slowly over time, so make sure you do keep playing with your outfit in order to, not have it decay. Outside of outfit loyalty, you do earn merit much the same way. Capturing and defending bases with your outfit provides merit, and you can exchange that merit at the outfit quartermaster for boosts, equipment, and cosmetics. Unfortunately, a lot of these, when I went there on my characters, I have the majority of the stuff that the quartermaster is offering right now. So I was a little disappointed by that. And I'm hoping that there's going to be more stuff added there because, like I said, I had most of it, which I was very disappointed in. On one of my characters, I went in and I had every decal. And I was like, well, what's the point of having decals here if I've got every single one? Granted, if you're a newer player, you're not going to have all of them, but I do hope that this gets fleshed out in the future. Next up in this update is, I think, the final big piece of the puzzle for Escalation, and that is Outfit Wars. So eventually we will have access to that new competitive environment. It takes place on a new zone called Desolation. Each cycle of Outfit Wars is going to allow us to enlist, qualify, prepare, and then compete once per month in a 3-way skirmish hosting the most influential outfits. I don't believe it's open yet, and I don't recall seeing when the first Outfit Wars is going to happen. But just so you know, it's not happening yet. And also note that right now, any resources or capturing or stuff like that you're doing right now in-game is not going to count towards this first Outfit Wars whenever it does launch. Because again, there are 4 phases to Outfit Wars. So first, there's the option to enlist. And during that phase, you're given the opportunity to opt into the qualification phase when scoring will take place. It does require a modest resource investment to fund your trip. So note that you got to have resources enabled to enlist. Next is the qualify phase. This is where shit gets real. In the qualified phase, all outfits that have enlisted will start capturing and claiming territory to earn points on the scoreboard. So again, anything that you've captured before the qualify phase isn't going to count. So I think when the first qualify phase goes off, that's when it's going to get hot and heavy in the game itself. And then outfits with the highest scores from each faction are going to be chosen to pit against each other during the competition. And right now there are 3 brackets, a gold, a silver, and a bronze. So that means at most up to 9 outfits per continent per server. And that's 3 from each faction in each of the 3 brackets are going to participate in the war itself. And then once the qualify phase is over, it's going to be the preparation phase. That's going to give the outfits a chance to rally members and craft more war assets to bring with you into Desolation itself. Note that the Bastion isn't available on Desolation, so that's certainly not going. And I don't think orbital strikes are either. And then the final phase is the compete phase itself, which is the War of Outfit Wars. When it begins, any players can join the zone by opening the Outfit Wars UI window or by going to the world map screen. An alert will trigger on Desolation, where you guys try to capture and control as much territory as possible, which earns points over time. And then the outfit with the most points at the end of the alert, or the first outfit to 500 points, wins additional resources, rewards, and glory, obviously. As it stands right now, I know they're only allowing 48 players per faction onto Desolation, but I do know that they are going to allow more than 48 players to opt in to play, but only 48 will be allowed, which means that during the outfit wars themselves, the faction commander can bring it, tell people to leave and bring new people into the continent as we're playing it. But again, you can't have more than 48 on. So it gives, faction leaders the ability to rejigger how their play style is to respond to other people. Like, let's say, for example, one team starts bringing a lot of armor into the game and starts rolling one side of the map, and the other faction leaders have, a bunch of armor players sitting in the wings waiting in case something like that happens, and then bring them all in. Or, they say, oh, it's time to up our air response to this, and they drop 10 players out and bring 10 really good pilots in to play. So there could be a really interesting kind of multi, or the way outfit leaders or faction leaders are going to change on the fly to various conditions. And it's going to really, separate the wheat from the chaff in kind of this, to see who the better outfit leaders are and the better force commanders are in these outfit wars themselves. It should be interesting. And they didn't mention it in the game update, but I know Rogue Planet Games has said that they want to be able to stream these live as they happen. So that could be very interesting. Next up, moving back into the game itself, there were some changes to Empire Strength and continent meta in this update. So they want to change it to a more map-driven metagame, so they're stepping away from the mid-continent event system. And that means all mid-continent events, like the aerial anomalies, maximum pressure, etc., have all been removed. So now the only events that are going to happen are going to be the unlocking event and the meltdown events themselves. So now, like I said, it's all based on territory control. So a territory control of 41% awards 5 Empire Strength. Territory control of 44 provides an additional 5, and then it occurs at 48, 52, 56, and 60% territory. And again, the goal is to get to 100 Empire Strength, because that's what's going to trigger the meltdown alert. Whenever a Bastion fleet carrier is hovering over contested territory, you'll earn progress toward unlocking an additional 15 Empire Strength. It takes about 17 minutes to complete, and progress made is not depleted when the Bastion's destroyed, so another outfit could pull a Bastion and then start tacking on to any completion point that you're in. ISA Tech Plant is worth 25 points, the Ascent is worth 25, and the Crown is worth 25 as well, Empire Strength. So those are really the big 3 middle zones on those continents, so that's why they're worth a bit more. And then finally, just to wrap up this huge mega update, there were a bunch of other miscellaneous changes and additions. Some of the bigger ones in here include a fix finally to critical chain so that it will no longer stack indefinitely. They thawed out the biolabs so that they're no longer frozen, which is good because I think that was causing a display bug more than anything else. They changed it so that cloaked infantry and vehicles can no longer capture control points, which I think is a big one. They added some hover over tooltips for all the currency types on the loadout screens, so you can see how to gain them and their maximum values. They optimized the HUD health elements to reduce some frame rate spikes. They disabled the tutorial system, which makes me think that That might be next on the horizon for them. They fixed a physics crash that was the most frequent crash on live. And finally, they loosened up on the continent faction balance restrictions as they were originally tuned for smaller player counts. Because like I said before, we were talking 11,000 people playing Planetside 2 yesterday, which is fucking amazing if you ask me. Again, there were a lot of other little changes, little fixes and additions that were not huge ones like those last few that I read. And you can certainly check the link in this week's show notes if you need to see what all of those are. And then finally, Rel added a last, thoughts or looking forward section, and I'm just going to read that word for all of you. And he wrote, "Hey there, folks, it's been a long road to this point, and it feels like it's all been a bit of a blur at the same time. We're finally ready to introduce the Escalation Update to you, which is the culmination of an absurd amount of time and effort committed by the new team. The hype drummed up for this update is well beyond what we expected, and the community's help supporting and promoting the title and the team has been more than we could have asked for. Escalation is important, not only for the state of the game, but also to set some new expectations for what you can see from us moving forward. You've noticed us interacting with the community more often than we have in the past, staying more transparent about what we're working on currently, and about what problems have been popping up here and there, and we've been taking more advantage of the public test server and private test groups as well. The team here wants to do great things with Planetside 2, and over the coming year, we intend to prove that out in the form of a better content cadence, revisiting bugs and unfinished systems, and dropping larger updates like this one every so often to keep players looking back our direction, regardless of what they're playing at the time. We'll get a chance to talk about future plans in later streams, so until then, thanks for playing and enjoy Escalation." I think he encapsulated that pretty well on how surprised that they are that the community has jumped back into the game like it has. I mean, I've been watching a lot of people streaming Planetside 2, and it's all they're talking about. And a lot of people are in their streams saying, "I thought this game was dead," and all the streamers are like, "No, it's not dead. Huge new update dropped. Thousands of people are playing this game again. 4 continents are open at once." I'm really happy with how the Escalation update turned out. I'm not going to lie when I say I was very disheartened about the future of Planetside 2  4 months ago, 5 months ago, when there were the big layoffs in October. I was crushed by what I saw as a bad direction for Planetside 2. So I'm happy to say that while I'm still sad about all that stuff that happened, I'm very happy with the direction that everything is going right now. And I am no longer thinking about quitting podcasting as a result of it. Will that change in the future if things suck? Of course. Everybody's entitled to stop playing a game whenever. But right now, I am 100% both feet in, both hands in, 100% in, hyped for Planetside 2 again, and I can't wait to see what they have up their sleeves next. With that, though, let's move on to the few hot fixes that came out shortly after this huge update that we all knew were coming. So the first hotfix happened on March 12th, the day after, and all it was to fix some quick things. So first, send messages should function as intended and no longer bring up the notification window. Sanctuary has the proper art on the world map screen. They fixed some broken text strings for the LA7 buzzard, and they fixed 2 new crashes that were occurring on live. Then on March 13th, they dropped a hotfix, which allowed VS Flash to equip cosmetics again. Outfit resource accrual now updates correctly on when an owned facility is lost. The meltdown alerts once again should be granting 250 certs and 300 ISO4 for a victory, and 150 and 150 for a loss. Note that the VS are not receiving A7 for a loss or runner-up in a meltdown alert, and they are looking into that issue. Next, the minimap no longer resets its default zoom level when a menu screen is opened, and they updated the LB00AP, that's the Halloween lightning weapon, optic attachment prices to be in line with that of other lightnings. And then, of course, they had to drop a second hotfix on March 13th. And that was because they noticed that some outfits had begun crafting a Bastion and other war assets prior to the earlier hotfix on the 13th. And as a result, they lost their crafting process and all resources that they had spent when the servers came back up. This second hotfix on the 13th was pushed out to correct that issue and to restore any lost crafting progress and spent resources. However, it may cause outfits who began immediately recrafting war assets to lose that new progress. So note that if you had begun crafting a Bastion or other expeditionary war asset between 8 a.m. Pacific and 1:30 p.m. Pacific on the 13th, come back to them with a response, letting them know your server name, your character name, your outfit name, and the asset type that you lost, and they will do their best to investigate and reimburse as best as possible. So there you go. 3 quick hot fixes in that topic, and I'm sure we're going to see more hot fixes coming out this week because there's still a lot of bugs within the game itself. And note, speaking of bugs, there is a giant bug thread on Reddit about all the current bugs. So if you're experiencing something, mention it in that bug or see if it's already been mentioned and piggyback on it so that they see different things going on with it. Also, don't forget that you can record bugs in game with the /bug command, and you should be doing that as often as possible as you come up against them. With that, this show's going long, but we still got more to talk about. Let's move on to our 4th and final topic this week. And that last topic is the Planetside guide. This was something I knew some folks had been working on, and I've been patiently waiting, like the rest of you, for this to come out. So I want to give a shout out to Zach Sanity, Azor, and Rapid, who are the ones that were working on this behind the scenes and working to get this pushed out. There are a whole bunch of other community members working on this as well with them, but those are the 3 main folks working on this. So their little blurb says that first of all, just go to planetsideguide.com. This is going to be a home for all kinds of resources to help you playing Planetside 2. Because like they said, Planetside 2 has had a variety of community resources for new and returning players over the years. One of the most popular being Iridar's gaming blog, which went down, and they have not had a comprehensive guide for all things Planetside since. During that time, a lot of people have stepped forward and provided resources for new players, but obviously finding and tracking them down is difficult for both new and old players. Obviously, a lot of people are coming back to the game right now, so something like this is big and really needed by the community. So these guys have come together and put together a new resource inspired by Indar's site. And again, it's called the Planetside Guide, and it aims to be your one-stop shop for all Planetside 2 players, new and old alike, to find guides on objective information on vehicles, classes, implants, weapons, gameplay style, INI files, you name it. They're trying to get everything all in one source so you can make one stop, get there, get the information you need, and be a better player or more knowledgeable player in Planetside 2. So obviously they started this work a few months ago, and they still have a long way to get all the content that they want, but they're thrilled to share that this site is now live. Again, planetsideguide.com. If you're interested in helping them, there's also a Discord that you can join, and they also always need help with content, media, coding, infrastructure, all kinds of stuff they can use help with, and they appreciate any and all help that they can get. And finally, Planetside Guide is aimed to always be free to visit and always have no ads, which is freaking huge if you ask me. I like doing the same thing, no ads, so I like to keep my content the same way, so I like the fact that these guys are doing the exact same thing. So again, I can't stress it enough. Get yourself over to Planetside Guide, and for everybody working on Planetside Guide, keep up the great work. Feel free to link all my podcast stuff there. I'm more than happy for you guys to keep me there. And if there's any announcements to Planetside Guide you need me to make, reach out. I am here. But with that, let's wrap up this week's long show and move on to housekeeping.
Housekeeping. Housekeeping.
Come back later, please.
Housekeeping.
Not now.
Housekeeping.
Go away.
I coming anyway?
So I didn't get any emails this week, but that's okay because everybody's playing Escalation, and I get it. But in the donation this week that Delimiter made, he put a little comment in there that I did think was worth sharing. And Delimiter wrote, "Just wanted to thank you for the awesome content you've continued to provide to the PS2 community. I haven't played much in the past year, but your podcast has kept me up to date with all of the game's changes and got me excited to check out Escalation. P.S. How sweet would it be to get new textures like the sanctuaries for existing assets? Thanks, Delimiter." So, Delimiter, yeah, I'm glad that you kept listening to me over all this time. I've always strived to have this podcast out there for folks like you who only play maybe once a month, once every 2 months, but want to keep up with what's going on in Planetside 2 and need that daily fix or that weekly fix of news. So I'm glad that you stuck with me and were able to find everything you needed, and I really appreciate the donation that you meant this week. I also agree with what you said. Sanctuary's assets are absolutely amazing. They're so much cleaner than the regular assets in game. But my one fear, I would love to see them all come in, and maybe we're getting to a point with PCs, being as, fat as they are right now with graphics and stuff like that, that maybe they can think about revisiting that. Don't forget, when they did the OMFG, Operation Make Faster Game, it was an effort to bump FPS up as much as possible. So they were removing crates all over the place, changing textures like mad, and stuff like that. I would love to see all the new textures come to the game. Will it happen? I don't know. But I would love to see it as well. Again, thank you for the donation this week. And also, again, a big thank you to Fireman for the donation that he made this week, even though he tried to do it anonymously. I still love you, Fireman. All right, that's going to be it for this week's show. But how can you get in touch with me or the show itself? As always, my website should be your first stop, www.instantactionpodcast.com. You can also send me an email at instantactionshow@gmail.com. And you should follow me on Twitter, which is at InstActPodcast. That's INSTACT Podcast. Or just search on Twitter for the Instant Action Podcast, and I will come up. That's how you're going to get all the news from me quickly on Twitter. But in closing, if you've enjoyed the show, please leave me a review on your podcast listening avenue of choice, whether it's iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, Spotify, anywhere that you can find my podcast. And that's what's going to get new players finding me quicker and easier as well. So your reviews really are important to me. Also, make sure you tell your friends and outfit mates in-game about the show, especially all those new folks coming in. Tell them I do a weekly podcast and I bring all the news that they need to know. But finally, thanks for listening and keep spamming that join combat, formerly known as Instant Action button. Derringer out.